Hello everyone, my name is Kitetsu and welcome to my channel. So finally, I've got the time to open the Open War cards. Well, that rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Open the Open War cards. So I've kind of had these for a couple of days, and as promised, I am now going to open them on my channel and have a little look through them. And I was thinking, I don't know what the quality of this camera is like after my disaster the other day of it going flat halfway through. This one is fully charged, but it is a different camera because I don't have the charger for the other one. So we'll see how this goes, and basically what I'm thinking of doing is if the camera quality isn't quite clear enough for you to read the cards, I may kind of scan them or something and overlay them somewhere here on the video so you can see them a little bit more clearly. Maybe here. I don't know, but let's crack into these things and have a look. Where's my knife? There we go, hang on. Professional at work here, doesn't know where his knife is. Off to a good start. I've also got to be quite careful because the way this mic is angled is pretty dangerous. So hopefully this thing's not going to fall on top of me. That would be rather funny. To be honest, I'd probably keep it in the video. At least it would, you know, be thoroughly entertaining to watch me get smacked around the head by a microphone. So let's open these up and have a look. I actually think these are quite a bit smaller than I was expecting. I thought they would be kind of like up to about here, maybe, but kind of more like War Scroll cards I was expecting. But okay, let's leave these here for just a second and have a look at this. So, Open War. Two armies, oh, I've got to be careful where I'm reading. Two mighty armies meet up on open field of battle. How they can deploy and what they must do to emerge victorious is up to the fates to decide. So, Open War cards are used to determine the instructions for the Open War battle plan as described below. Take the Open War cards and separate them into the following 5 decks. Okay, so we have a deployment deck, an objectives deck, a twist deck, a ruse deck, and a sudden death deck. So here is the ruse deck. Put them down a bit neater. Sudden death. Twist. Hey, nice. Corgus Cull. The deployment deck. Oh, seems to be a few more of those. The objectives deck. This is, okay, that's the last of them. So here we've got the objective card. Nice artwork there. Here we've got the deployment ones. They look pretty cool. Almost be a good idea to like laminate these or something, because I assume they'll probably get quite a lot of use and I don't really want to wreck them. And twist. They look pretty nice. Some iron jaws for ruse. And I believe this is that Nagash on sudden death? That would make sense. So let's keep reading. Shuffle each of the decks of cards, draw the top card from the deployment, objectives, and twist. So deployment, objectives, twist. So I guess you keep these to a side for a minute. And place them face up so that both players can see them. So hypothetically you would draw a deployment, you would draw an objective, and you would draw a twist card, which kind of can't see at the moment, but oh, wow, this whole jazz. It's funny watching unboxing videos where people are trying to shuffle everything around so you can see it, and now I've got this whole problem myself. So place the ruses and sudden death decks even to one side for a moment. They may be needed after the two armies have been set up. Okay, so both players roll a dice. Can we see that in the camera? Yep, there we go. Rolling again in the case of a tie. The player that rolls the highest can choose which of the territories shown in the deployment card will be their territory. Their opponent uses the other territory. The deployment cards assume that the battlefield will measure 6 foot by 4 foot, standard table size. If you are using a battlefield of a different size, you'll need to adjust the measurements accordingly. Well, that goes without saying, surely. The players, I can read it easier on the camera. The players then alternate setting up units one at a time, starting with the player that won the earlier dice roll. So, fairly normal deployment. Models must be set up within their own territory, more than 3 inches from any enemy models. If a player's territory is split into several separate regions, oh, that sounds exciting, then units can be set up in some or all of them, as long as all of the models in a unit are set up in the same region. So that's pretty cool. Then we've got so that's basically setting up, which is the deployment. So in this case, we would have had a fairly standard looking deployment zone where you've got a foot, is that? No, you've got, yeah, so you've divided it into 3, so you've got 2 foot, 2 foot and 2 foot. That's fairly straightforward. And then onto the objectives. Sometimes, oh, let's get that in the camera. Sometimes the objective decks will require the player to set up one or more objective on the battlefield. They are placed before any units are set up. Okay. Each objective needs to be represented by a suitable marker, such as a coin or an appropriate piece of terrain. When measuring distances involving objectives, always measure to and from the centre of the marker. If both players are required to set up objectives, alternate setting them up one at a time, starting with the player that won the dice roll. Objectives are controlled by the player that has the most models within 3 inches of them at the end of any turn. Oh, yep, this sounds fun. It's kind of cool that they've given you such a robust little tiny, I know it's only a little card, but it's quite a robust little rule set here. Once you gain control of an objective in the open war battle, it remains under your control until the enemy is able to gain control of it. So, this is what we want to know what they do, the ruses and the sudden death victories. Ruses and sudden death victories. After both sides have finished setting up, each player must add up the total wounds characteristics of all the models in their army. If one army has a total that's greater than the other, then the player with the lower total is allowed to take the top card. Okay, cool. Oh, okay, it continues on the back. I was thinking the top card. The top card of what? Top card from the Ruse deck. So, say I had less wounds. Let's take a look. This one is the Reinforcements card. So, play this card at the end of any of your movement phases. When you do, pick one unit from your army in which all of the models have been slain. You can set up the unit again more than 9 inches from the enemy, and so that the unit is wholly within 9 inches of the edge of the battlefield. This counts as the units move that movement phase. So this is really cool. Basically, if you are underpowered compared to your enemy, you draw your Ruse card, you can use it, I guess it depends on the conditions of the card, but you use it whenever you want, and it gives you some sort of balancing benefit, like, hey, your best unit, you've now got it back again. So that's really cool. What else have we got? Ruse and sudden death cards are kept secret until they are played. Okay. Oh, we haven't read this bit, have we? If one army has a total that is at least double the other, then the player with the lower total is allowed to take the top card from the sudden death deck as well. So that makes sense. So I was thinking that whilst I read it out. If you're slightly underpowered, you draw a Ruse card. If you are half the power, you would draw a sudden death card. So in this case, drive them out. Oh, there's my freezer turning on in the background. I hope that's not too loud. Starting from the 3rd battle round, play this card at the end of your turn. If there are no enemy models in your territory, you immediately win the battle. Okay, nice. So basically, if you make it to the 3rd turn, you win. Nice, I like that. Let's put these to the side because we've already read those ones. Then, Ruse and sudden death cards kept secret. If a sudden death card can be played, its victory conditions override those found on the objectives card of the game. That makes sense. It's almost a shame they have to write that down because surely If someone said, oh, I've played this sudden death card, I've survived till round 3 and now I win, and someone turns around and goes, but you haven't captured the objective. Yeah, come on, that's just stupid. Right, first turn. The player that finished setting up first chooses who has the first turn. Okay. Victory, do not use the victory conditions on the Age of Sigmar rule sheet. Instead, the player that achieves the victory conditions on the objective card chosen for the battle wins a major victory. If one player plays a sudden death card, they win a minor victory. If neither player achieves the victory conditions on the objective card, then the player that lost the smaller percentage of their starting models wins a minor victory. Any other result is a draw. So, nice. Let's start off by having a quick look at these objective cards, shall we? Because these are kind of the more simple cards. It does appear to be quite clear on this camera, so I'm hoping I won't need to be doing any scanning. So, that's the one we've just looked at. This is same thing, but opposite corners instead of sides. This is very similar to this, but not quite as wide an expanse, and it's obviously all funneling everything towards the middle. Good place for an objective marker, I'm guessing. Are there any measurements? Nope, just the one in the middle. Got this one here, which I guess could be potentially interesting. Interesting that they both meet at the middle here, so whoever sets up first, I guess you can push as far forwards as possible, and then the other person is going to have to stay a little bit further back. This one is pretty much half the board, do whatever you want. Same, but the other way round. This is the same as the one we saw a minute ago, but from opposite sides. This one looks more fun. I like these more kind of asymmetrical ones, so that's fun. Yeah, I like that. And I really like this as well. I must admit, when I was reading the little rules and it said about basically putting, having multiple deployment zones, I like that. And this is even better. Look at that. See, on this one, it's probably quite awkward setting up in corners, whereas having two edges with your opponent in the middle, that looks much more convenient. It's more like some kind of... I was just going to say it's like an ambush situation, and this one is pretty much exactly the same. This one you're basically surrounding them from all sides. And this one, fairly standard looking affair, which takes us back to, I believe, the start. Yes. So, that is your deployment cards. Now, objective cards. We didn't actually look at the one we drew earlier, so let's have a quick read. There we go. At the start of each player's turn, they must roll a dice for each objective they control, in any order they wish. If they roll a 6, they have found the hidden treasure. Remove the other objectives. The player that controls the hidden treasure at the end of the 5th battle round wins this battle. Wow. So basically, you have to control an objective, and at the start of each turn you roll a 6 and you are looking for the treasure. I really like that. That sounds really fun. Like, this is what I was really hoping would come from this box set, is basically a set of fun conditions to make liven the game up a little bit. And I've heard, I think on the website, there's something like 60,000 combinations that you can make of game just from this little set of cards, so it's amazing. And I know it obviously doesn't make the game balanced as such, but to be honest with you, I really like the idea of putting this in matched play, so we'll see how that works out. So what have we got here? Field of Glory. Place one objective at the centre of the battlefield. Both players then roll a dice, starting with the player who rolled highest. They then take it in turns to set up one objective each, anywhere in their own territory that is more than 6 inches from the edge. At the end of the 5th battle round, the player that controls the most objective wins. A player wins immediately if they control all 3 objectives at the end of their turn. Okay, so that sounds pretty cool. I think the treasure one sounds a little bit more fun, but still cool. What we've got here, Invasion. Both players, just put that there, so if you want to read the little fluff that comes with it, which I will go back and read myself at some point. Both players roll a dice, starting with the player who rolled highest. They then take it in turns to set up an objective. Anywhere in their own territory. Oh, one objective each. So you roll a dice, whoever rolls first, I guess I would put mine in first if I rolled higher, put my objective down, then you would place yours in your own area as well. A player wins immediately if they control their own objective and the enemy objective at the end of their opponent's turn. So, nice, yep. War of Attrition. Each player adds up the value of the wounds characteristics of all enemy models that their army slays. At the end of the 5th battle round, the player with the highest total wins the battle, even if their own army has been wiped out. Nice, that's a pretty cool thing. Again, the cool thing here is obviously if you're not playing a balanced game, then you've got the ruse and potentially sudden death cards to kind of make that a game worth playing. The prize. Place an objective at the centre of the battlefield. A model can pick it up by ending a move on top of it. The objective moves with that model from then on. Oh, okay, so you can pick up the objective, that's pretty cool. The model can drop the objective at any time and must drop it if it is slain. If it is dropped by a player's model, their opponent places the objective within 1 inch of the model that dropped it. The player whose model is carrying the objective at the end of the 5th battle round wins the battle. That one looks particularly good fun as well. I like that one. Drawn and quartered. Oh, this sounds violent. There's the fluff. Both players roll a dice, starting with the player who rolled the highest. They then take it in turn to set up 2 objectives each. Anywhere more than 12 inches from the centre of the battlefield, more than 6 inches from the edge, and 18 inches from any other objectives. So 2 objectives each this time. You roll a dice, deploy them basically within the zones allowed. That sounds quite restricted. It has to be more than 12 inches from the centre, so you have to basically draw a 12-inch circle in the centre, which I think one of the objective cards actually has. More than 6 inches from the edge and 18 inches from any other objectives. Sounds like you're going to have to think a little bit about where you can place them. I wonder if the deployment card here helps you with placing those. I'm not sure, but potentially. I have to get the ruler out. Each player scores a victory point at the end of the turn for every objective they control. Player with the most victory points at the end of the 5th battle is the winner, so fairly standard affair apart from the placement. Burn and Pillage. Tear it all down. The player, or both players, roll off. Starting with the winner, they then take it in turn to set up 3 objectives each, anywhere in their own territory, more than 6 inches from any other objective and the edge of the battlefield. A player can burn and pillage any enemy objectives that they control at the end of their turn, remove them when they do so. The first player to burn and pillage all 3 enemy objectives wins the battle. That's amazing, I love that one. Really do like the way they're trying to make these kind of unique. When they just do a basic kind of capture, you know, it's fun. It's definitely fun. Everyone loves playing the capture games, but I kind of think that when you're buying a set of cards like this, you want them to be different, you know, not just rewording the same thing that doesn't really make any difference. Kill the messenger, this already sounds quite fun. At the start of the first battle round, before determining who has the first turn, each player lets their opponent know which model in their army is their messenger. The model cannot be the army's general and must already be set up on the battlefield. The first person to slay the opponent's messenger wins the battle. That's very cool. So you've got a high priority target to kill in the army. And in fact, just because it's not the general doesn't mean it can't be some form of character. So, pretty cool. Take and hold. Place one objective at the centre of the battlefield. Then Each player sets up one objective in their own territory more than 10 inches from the edge of the battlefield. So you've got one objective basically each in your territory, and you've got one in the middle. At the end of a player's turn, you score a victory point for controlling one. If the objective was also controlled by the player at the start of their last turn, they score 3 victory points instead. So that's cool. Obviously, take and hold, you get more points depending on how long you've controlled it. And it ends at the 5th round again. Nice. Gloryseeker. It already starts off good. It is not enough to simply defeat your foe. They must be humbled, their leaders slain, and their greatest monsters butchered to demonstrate your might. Wow. So each player adds up the value of the wounds characteristic of all enemy models that their army slays during the battle, doubling the value of any models that have the hero or monster keyword. So it's all about basically killing everything. Cool. The Komet. I believe this is going to be similar to the first General's Handbook, I assume. Roll a dice at the start of the 3rd battle round. After determining who has the first turn, place an objective as close as possible to the centre of the corresponding location shown in the map below. I think they might have slightly altered the placement there, which is cool. Player that controls the objectives at the end of the 5th turn wins. Kingslayer. Sounds like something out of Game of Thrones. Each player adds up the value of wounds characteristics of all enemy models that their army slays, doubling the total score if one of them was the general. Highest points value wins. Cool. So kind of like a slay the general target thing going on there. Twists is the second biggest set of cards. So Dead of Night. These ones are going to be the fun ones. This is what's going to like add all the variety to the game, isn't it? Maximum range of all attacks and spells is limited to 12 inches. That's great in itself. Roll a dice at the start of each battle round after the first. On a roll of 4 or more, 6 inches is added to the maximum range. That's brilliant. Then on the next turn it's a 4 again, and 12 inches is added, then 18 inches and so on. Brilliant. Great fun. Love it. Storm of Magic. Add 1 to all casting and unbinding rolls. Brilliant. However, if a casting or unbinding roll results in a double, the caster suffers a mortal wound after the spell is attempted and its effects, if any, have been resolved. If the roll was a double one, then the caster suffers D3 mortal wounds instead. Brilliant. This is the stuff I'm looking for. This is the gold dust. Wrath of the Gods. Each player can roll 3 dice at the start of their hero phase. For each dice roll of a 6, they can pick a separate enemy unit and inflict D3 mortal wounds upon it. Wow. That's pretty cool. I mean, potentially may not have too much impact if you're lucky. Lashing Brain. The Lashing Brain takes effect from the start of the first battle round. While it is raining, subtract 1 from hit rolls in the shooting phase, and subtract 1 from all run and charge rolls. Wow, so if you are a Vermin Lord, that's the word I'm looking for, Vermin Lord. If you are a Vermin Lord, I can't remember which one it is. It's not the Corruptor. It's the one with the Assassin. He's already at a -2, I think, to hit, so he now becomes a -3 to hit. So, very cool. Roll a dice at the start of each battle round after the first hit. On a roll of 4 or more, the rain stops. If it was raining, or oh, okay, so you can, the rain can stop and start. That's very cool. I like that. Nice. Eager for the fight. Add 2 inches to the movement characteristics of everyone, and add 1 to all run and charge rolls. Blessed Healing. Each player can pick a friendly unit at the start of their hero phase. That unit heals D3 wounds. Very cool. Meeting Battle. Each player must split their army into 3 contingents. No contingent can consist, of more than half the units in an army. Each player sets up one contingent at the start of the battle using the normal rules for setup. A second contingent arrives at the end of the second movement phase, last at the end of its controller's third movement phase. Units in the second and third contingent must be set up more than 9 inches from the enemy, with all models wholly within 9 inches of the battlefield edge and outside of enemy territory. Sounds fun as well. It's almost like waves of battle going on. I like the idea. Grudge Match. Units do not have to take battle shock tests in this battle. Wow, that would be amazing for something with low bravery like Skaven. Battle Frenzy. Add 1 to the attacks of all melee weapons used in the battle. Simple but fun. Set piece battle. Instead of setting up units one at a time, the player that won the roll to see who sets up first must set up all of the units in their army. Their opponent then sets up all the units in their army. Then you roll a dice. On a roll of 1, the player that set up second has the first turn, and 2 or more, player that set up first has the first turn. So, cool. Bit of a twist on the deployment going on there. Many paths to victory. Draw an extra objective card. Both objective cards are used for the battle. If the players achieve one of the objectives each, then the battle is a tie. And we've got a designer's note here. If both the objective cards that you draw require you to place objective markers on the battlefield, ensure you can tell which objective marker relates to which objective card. Okay, so that sounds like a really good one. Probably one of my favourite twist cards so far was that last one. Double or nothing. Roll a dice. On a roll of 1 to 3, no twist cards are used for this battle. On a 4 to 6, oh my goodness, draw 2 more twist cards and apply both to this battle. That's another excellent twist card. I kind of like the short, snappy ones, not just because they're easier to read out, but because they seem to have like slightly more fun effects, like all of a sudden everything's got an extra attack or something like that. The ruses, we've already read the reinforcements. We've also got ambush. Oh, try and remember where the camera is. Play this card after setup is complete, but before the first battle round, pick up to 3 of your units to be set up in an ambush. You can set these units up again anywhere that is not in the enemy's territory and is more than 12 inches from enemy models. That's very cool. Not quite sure how I would take advantage of that. I've never really used these sort of ambush tactics. I know it's quite a common thing in 40k, I think, or it has been in the past. Lethal Inferno. Play this card in your hero phase to set 1 terrain feature within 3 inches of a friendly model on fire. Wait, what? Oh, okay. You set the terrain feature on fire. For the rest of the battle, any models that end their movement phase either in or on the terrain feature are slain. Wow. That'd be great for Sylvaneth players. That would definitely make a match more interesting. So, what have we got here? Revenge. Play this card if your general is slain. For the rest of the battle, you can add 1 to the wound rolls made for all models in your army. My goodness. And outflank, pick one of your units and remove it from the battlefield. You must set it up again at the end of either your first or second movement phase, more than 9 inches from the enemy, so that the unit is wholly within 9 inches of the edge of the battlefield. This counts as their move for the movement phase. So basically you can just take a unit away, set it up again. That's cool. Inspiring Speech. Play this card after setup is complete, but before the first battle round. As long as your general has not been slain, units in your army do not have to take battle shock tests. That sounds like that should be just an ability of a certain model somewhere in the game anyway. I like it. But lastly, we've got the sudden death cards. We've already had drive them out. So next we have Assassinate. Play this card if you slay the enemy hero or monster that has the highest wounds currently on the battlefield. You immediately win. Wicked. I also like the brackets. If several have the same wounds characteristic, play this card if any of them are slain. So you could actually like try and find the one that you're stronger against, take it out and win. I like it. Blunt. Play this card if you have slain at least half of the models that your opponents had in their army at the start of the battle, you immediately win. So nice and simple. I guess if they've got twice the size army as you, you have to be a quarter of the size of them to hopefully be able to take out half of their army effectively. I don't know if I'm doing that maths right, but sounds kind of right in my head. Endure. Play this card if you have at least one model still on the battlefield at the end of the 5th battle round. You immediately win the battle. Wow. You just have to have one figure alive to get that minor victory. Vital Ground. If you have at least one friendly model within 3 inches of that... Oh, hang on. I missed the bit out. I thought that was Fluff. Play this card before the 1st battle round. You basically pick one terrain feature in the enemy territory. If you have at least one friendly model within 3 inches of it at the end of the 4th battle round, you win. Last one. Vendetta. Sudden Death. Play this card if an attack made by your general slays the enemy general. You immediately win the battle. Wow. So that is our set of cards. Can't actually remember how many there are. I think it might have been, was it 48? Objective cards, your deployment cards, and your twist cards. So yeah, that's basically the set. I'm really pleased with it. I think it can result in some very fun games. Tell me what you think in the comments down below, and I really want to do a giveaway for a set of these cards, and let me know if that's something you guys are interested in, because if you are, I will go out and buy a set, and that is exactly what I will do. I have been talking to one of my co-streamers because she's done a giveaway before and she said it was really successful, so I'll have a little think about it whilst I'm editing this video together and everything, and I'll see what I come up with, and hopefully we can get something like that sorted out. It will be my first proper giveaway on this channel, so quite exciting. Nothing massive, but you know, it would be cool to do something like that to celebrate the start of this new series. And as usual guys, thank you very much for watching. I will see you shortly in the next video. I've got so many ideas for videos that I want to make and not enough time to do them all, but either way, thank you so much for all of your support. It means literally the world to me when you show your appreciation for what I'm doing, when you give me a like, the ultimate honour of giving me a sub, everything like that is amazing. And to be honest, that's why I do these videos. I say it probably now in every video I make. I'm doing these videos for you guys and because of the support you are giving me. So the more you put my way, the more you will get back. Trust me on that. And stay awesome, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much. Goodbye.